Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Iran-Israel showdown intensifies amid nuclear proxy war tensions. Preventive detention cannot be a substitute for bail cancellation, says Supreme Court. RBI has granted non-bank finance company license to Flipkart. Step and shoot spot scanning proton arc therapy used to treat an adenoid cystic carcinoma. India's wind energy capacity rises over 10.5% to 51.5 gigawatt from May 2024. In a major escalation, tensions between Iran and Israel have flared up once again. Iran has launched Operation True Promise 3, a direct retaliation against Israel's Operation Rising Lion, which had earlier targeted key Iranian military and nuclear infrastructure. But what lies behind this growing hostility between the two nations? To understand that, we need to go back in history. Iran and Israel were once allies until the 1979 Iranian Revolution. Post-revolution, Iran transformed into an Islamic republic and adopted a hard anti-Israel stance. This marked the beginning of a long-standing hostility. Another major flashpoint has been Iran's nuclear program, which Israel sees as an existential threat. According to the International Atomic Energy Agency, Iran had enriched uranium up to 60%, a clear breach of its obligations under the Non-Proliferation Treaty. At the same time, efforts by the United States and major Western powers to finalize a nuclear deal with Iran have failed. Adding to the complexity is Iran's support to proxy groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza, further fueling instability in the region. Now, what are the implications of this escalating conflict? First and foremost, regional instability. The spillover effects are already visible, with the involvement of Lebanon and Gaza. Next, there's the issue of global trade disruption. Key maritime routes like the Strait of Hormuz and the Red Sea are likely to be affected. Then comes the matter of energy security. Countries like India, which imports a major chunk of its crude oil through the Strait of Hormuz, will be significantly impacted. This also raises concerns over connectivity. Ships and aeroplanes may have to take longer, costlier routes. And that's not all. Key international projects like the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor and the International North-South Transport Corridor could face serious setbacks. And what does all this mean for India? India may find it challenging to maintain smooth operations at the Chabahar port and will need to carefully balance its diplomatic ties with both Iran and Israel.
In a significant ruling, the Supreme Court has stated that preventive detention cannot be a substitute for bail cancellation. This observation came in the judgment of Dhanya M versus State of Kerala and others, where the court set aside a preventive detention order issued under the Kerala Anti-Social Activities Prevention Act 2007. The Supreme Court emphasized the critical difference between law and order and public order, referring to previous cases such as S.K. Nazneen versus State of Telangana of 2023 and Nenavat Bujji versus State of Telangana 2024. The court clarified that the distinction lies in the degree and extent of the act's impact on society. Since the matter in question dealt with a law and order situation and not a public order disturbance, the detention order was deemed unjustified. Now, what exactly is preventive detention? Constitutionally, Article 22, Clause 3 allows the government to detain individuals for preventive reasons like maintaining public order or national security. However, this comes with several safeguards. No preventive detention law should permit detention beyond 3 months unless an advisory board approves it. The grounds of detention must be communicated at the earliest, and the detainee must be provided the earliest opportunity to make a representation. Over the years, the Supreme Court has reinforced the exceptional nature of preventive detention through landmark judgments. In Rekha versus State of Tamil Nadu 2011, the court held that preventive detention is an exception to Article 21 and should be applied rarely. In Vijay Narayan Singh versus State of Bihar 1984, it was ruled that such detention must not be used to bypass regular criminal procedures. In Ichu Devi versus Union of India 1980, the court clearly placed the burden of justification on the detaining authority. And back in A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras 1950, the constitutional validity of the Preventive Detention Act 1950 was upheld. This latest ruling strengthens the legal framework by ensuring that preventive detention is used responsibly and not as a shortcut to deny bail.
Moving on, the Reserve Bank of India has granted a non-bank finance company or NBFC license to Flipkart. At present, e-commerce platforms offer loans through tie-ups with banks and NBFCs. But with this license, Flipkart will now be able to lend directly to its customers and sellers. The lending will be done both through its own platform and via its fintech app called Super Money. Now, a quick look at what an NBFC is. An NBFC is a company registered under the Companies Act of 1956 or 2030. Its principal business includes giving loans and advances, acquiring shares, stocks, bonds, debentures, or securities issued by the government or local authorities, and engaging in leasing and hire purchase. However, NBFCs do not carry out agricultural or industrial activities. They also do not deal with the purchase or sale of goods or services, nor do they take part in the sale, purchase, or construction of immovable property. The working and operations of NBFCs are regulated by the Reserve Bank of India under the RBI Act of 1934. Moving to their significance, NBFCs contributed 12.60% to India's GDP in 2023. Their lending market share in consumer durables stood at nearly 61% the same year. Additionally, during FY 2025, they have shown faster credit growth compared to commercial banks, according to Boston Consulting Group. Now, what differentiates NBFCs from banks? Firstly, NBFCs cannot accept demand deposits. They're also not part of the payment and settlement system and cannot issue checks drawn on themselves. Lastly, deposit insurance from the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation or DICGC is not available to depositors of deposit-taking NBFCs.
In a first-of-its-kind medical breakthrough, step-and-shoot spot scanning proton arc therapy or SPArc has been successfully used to treat an adenoid cystic carcinoma or ACC. This marks a significant step forward in precision cancer treatment. ACC is a relatively rare form of cancer that typically develops in the salivary glands or other parts of the head and neck region. So what exactly is SPArc? It is an advanced radiation therapy technique that uses proton beams to target tumors while minimizing damage to surrounding healthy tissue. Radiation therapy in general works by damaging the DNA of cancer cells, slowing or stopping their growth. The protons used in SPArc are positively charged subatomic particles, and the therapy is delivered through a computerized program that scans all possible spots and energy layers where proton beams can be effectively directed. An energy layer in this context refers to a specific slice of tissue that receives proton beams of a particular energy level. The benefits of SPArc are especially noteworthy. It enhances the quality of radiation dose planning for cancers such as those affecting the head, neck, and brain. For example, compared to single-field optimization intensity modulated proton therapy or SFO-IMPT, SPArc significantly reduces radiation exposure by 10% to the brainstem and 90% to the spinal canal. While SPArc adds a powerful new tool to cancer treatment, there are also other established methods in use. Chemotherapy or chemo is a treatment that uses drugs to kill cancer cells. Immunotherapy harnesses the body's own immune system to fight cancer. For instance, CAR T-cell therapy uses genetically modified T cells to target the disease. Additionally, stem cell transplants are commonly used to treat cancers affecting blood cells, such as leukemia and lymphoma. This milestone in proton arc therapy not only marks a new chapter in treating rare cancers like ACC, but also brings hope for safer and more effective cancer care moving forward.
In a significant development, India's wind energy capacity has risen by over 10.5% to 51.5 gigawatt as of May 2024. This announcement was made by the Union Minister for New and Renewable Energy on the occasion of Global Wind Day 2025, observed on June 15th. The minister also stated that India's total renewable energy capacity grew by 17.13% year-on-year, reaching 226.74 gigawatts. Of this total, solar power capacity saw an impressive expansion of 31.49%. Now, turning to the status of wind energy in India. Globally, India ranks as the fourth largest in wind power installed capacity and is the third largest renewable energy producer in the world. The sector has witnessed significant growth, expanding from 21.04 gigawatt in 2014 to 51.5 gigawatt in May 2025. Wind power continues to play a crucial role in the country's renewable energy mix, standing as the second largest contributor after solar power. The states with the highest wind energy potential include Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh. In terms of policy support and initiatives, several government measures have been undertaken. The Centralized Data Collection and Coordination, or CCDC Wind Initiative, aims to enhance wind resource assessment and help identify the most promising locations for wind energy projects. The National Wind-Solar Hybrid Policy of 2018 provides a framework for promoting large grid-connected wind-solar photovoltaic hybrid systems to ensure optimal utilization. Additionally, a Viability Gap Funding or VGF scheme has been launched for offshore wind energy projects in line with the National Offshore Wind Energy Policy 2015. Other supportive measures include the Green Energy Open Access Rules 2022 and the Renewable Energy Purchase Obligation or RPO. However, the wind energy sector also faces several challenges. Infrastructure limitations such as inadequate transmission infrastructure, lack of power evacuation mechanisms, and risks of grid instability persist. On the economic front, the high minimum project size, significant investment cost, and financial risks due to fluctuating tariffs remain concerns. There are also technical challenges including complex installation and commissioning processes, transportation of equipment to remote areas, and demanding maintenance and operational needs.
In today's Place in News, we will talk about Cyprus with its capital at Nicosia. Recently, the Prime Minister of India visited Cyprus. Now, let's talk about some key features of the nation. Cyprus is an island country located in the eastern Mediterranean Sea. Politically, it is a member of the European Union or EU. It shares maritime boundaries with Turkey to the north, Syria to the east, and Lebanon to the southeast. Geographically, Cyprus is the third largest island in the Mediterranean Sea, after Sicily and Sardinia. The country is home to two major mountain ranges, Kyrenia and Troodos Mountains. Its highest point is Mount Olympus.
As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. CAG has set up a separate unit for auditing public sector undertakings run by various state governments. Comptroller and Auditor General of India is appointed under Article 148 of the Constitution by the President of India. CAG is not eligible for reappointment in central or state governments. Second phase of Naksha training begins at 4 national centers of excellence. Naksha, or National Geospatial Knowledge-Based Land Survey of Urban Habitations, is a 1-year pilot program under the Digital India Land Records Modernization Program and comes under the Ministry of Rural Development. Directorate General of Civil Aviation or DGCA has given an order for extended surveillance of the 34 Boeing 787 planes, which are currently present in the Indian aircraft fleet. DGCA is responsible for regulation of air transport services to or from or within India and for enforcement of civil air regulations, air safety and airworthiness standards. SDG 4 Scorecard Progress Report on National Benchmarks has been released by UNESCO's Global Education Monitoring Team or GEM. It assesses how countries are performing against their own specific targets for various education indicators. SDG 4 ensures inclusive and equitable quality education. The third United Nations Ocean Conference or UNOC3 concluded with the adoption of the Nice Ocean Action Plan. UNOC3 was held in Nice, France. It was co-hosted by France and Costa Rica. One of the key highlights of Action Plan includes a global roadmap adopted to support the achievement of SDG 14. Authorities at the Ahmedabad Civil Hospital are identifying victims of the Air India flight AI-171 crash through DNA profiling. DNA profiling, also called DNA fingerprinting, is a technique used to identify individuals by analyzing unique patterns in their DNA. Key methods include short tandem repeat and mitochondrial DNA. South Africa won the World Test Championship 2023-25 against title holder Australia in Lord's, England. WTC started in August 2019. Each cycle consists of matches played over 2 years. The top 9 ranked teams on the MRF Tires ICC Test Team rankings qualify for the WTC. Traditional construction techniques are to be used to restore and preserve the Simhachalam Temple. Simhachalam Temple, also known as Varahalakshmi Narasimha Temple, is a Hindu temple located in Vishakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. It's dedicated to the incarnation of Vishnu, known as Narasimha or the man-lion. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description.